Everyone, meet Albert Pascual Gettings. Albert just had 2 months left on his deployment when there was a rise in enemy sniper activity in the AO. Just recently, an enemy sniper shot and killed a Marine in the northern part of Fallujah, so Albert and his squad were tasked to conduct counter-sniper operations in the area. Just 2 years ago, Albert was sitting behind a desk in the supply office, and now he's an infantry squad leader leading his men into battle. Albert and his Marines were all geared up and ready to go. Their mission: detect, locate, and neutralize enemy snipers to protect friendly forces and disrupt enemy activities. So Albert and his squad of Marines took to the streets. When you're on patrol, the area could be completely empty, but you're still on high alert, constantly scanning your surroundings for any movement or activity. And at the same time, you're hoping you don't get sniped or step in an IED. Albert and his squad were patrolling, and it was quiet as usual. But all of a sudden, bursts of machine gun fire attacked Albert and his squad. All the Marines immediately hit the deck. They were under heavy enemy fire. And that's when Albert looked down and saw blood soaking through his uniform. He was shot in the stomach. At the same time, Albert saw that one of his Marines was also hit, down and wounded on the ground. Albert needed to get his men to safety and back on the offensive. He needed the corpsman to get to his wounded Marine. So Albert ignored his own wounds and his own safety, and he immediately stood up and started returning fire. Albert remained fully exposed to enemy fire, and he directed his Marines as he continued to shoot, laying down suppressive fire, covering their movement. Incredibly, Albert maintained a calm demeanor while still suffering from his wounds, and he continued to direct his Marines where to shoot as they maneuvered against the enemy. Using all the strength he had, he watched as the squad was able to move into position and start to engage the enemy. Only until then, Albert moved into a covered position and collapsed. They ripped his flak jacket open and Albert was bleeding profusely. His squad did everything they could to stabilize him, and Albert and the other wounded Marine were successfully medevaced. Once on base, they were rushed to the surgical center, and just a few minutes later, medical staff came out and said they needed more blood. So without any hesitation, more than 30 Marines were lined up to give their blood to their brother. The wait was excruciating, but after 20 minutes, the announcement was made. On January 5th, 2006, Corporal Albert Pascual Gettings had passed away. He was 27 years old.